Come on in the room. Come on in the room. The Bucks winning tonight, 122-106 over the Chicago Bulls. Come on in the room. Doc, I can say it with some pride tonight. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all of our scriptures. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. It's the Cream City crossover, the Guru Trick off the earth.
Chris King.
Justin.
Hey, here we go. I don't know if JT, what's going on, JT? We'll see if he pops, if he comes on in the room. But glad to have you guys with us tonight. 122-106. The Milwaukee Bucks defeat the Chicago Bulls. Got close for a minute, but 25-point third quarter from Giannis, 41-point night overall from Giannis. The Bucks do it to the Chicago Bulls, put belt to ass, and defeat the Bulls in a little bit of I-94 rivalry there, which is good. So yeah, I see the I-94. I see you, Justin, on the hat. Talk to us at the Twitter at TCIIESQ, and what up to the YouTube chat. We will talk to you there as well. But again, overall, a good night for the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's do a game recap and get into it. Bucks win it 122-106. Giannis, again, I talked about 35 minutes for Giannis, 41, 9, and 8. So you almost messed around, got a triple-double. He was 17 and 24. I don't remember what it was. He like 17 and 19 from the paint? It was something crazy inside the paint. Giannis didn't settle at all, 70% from the field. Really, the only thing he messed up on, I mean, he could have almost got a 50-point night if he hit free throws, but he was 7-14 from the line. That was really the only thing that you could say that Giannis didn't do well. One turnover, so he wasn't the issue there. No points from Taurean Prince, 5 boards for him. Brook Lopez, a 21-point night, 5 boards, 3 assists, 9 of 12, and 2 of 5 from 3. Brook Lopez seems to have turned back the hand of time just a little bit over the last few nights. I think Brook Lopez, we talked about it, I think he's really matchup dependent, and you get a Vooch, we talked about this a bit, but you get a Vooch who is, again, a 3-point threat, but he's just a slower, they're kind of the same kind of guy, really, kind of slow of foot, and he's not going to beat you off the dribble, not really a threat in athletically. And so Brook Lopez, I don't think has as much a problem popping out to Vooch or staying in front of him. So good job there. Interesting. So 2 starters in the Bucks starting lineup don't score. Andre Jackson Jr., no points, 4 rebounds. He only plays 14 minutes. We talked about him for a second. But again, we talked about him before the show started, where he just got to, I think Andre Jackson Jr. has got to face the basket. I mean, a little bit. He got a pass from Giannis, I believe. And I mean, it was under the basket, could have dunked it. I bet he pumped, guy flew past him. And if he turns around, it spins around, just goes right up. He's literally underneath the basket. Dunk the basketball. Like, he can jump. Instead, he pushes out for a 3. It wasn't even a bad pass, but it's like, that's an easy 2 points. You have to be a threat offensively when you have teams, and the Chicago did it tonight, where they just didn't defend him at all. Damian Lillard struggled a bit, 20 points, 10 assists. Did pass the ball well, 5 boards. He was 7 of 17 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3, 4 turnovers tonight. But so Dame, overall, an okay night, a decent night. Does get 10 assists, so I appreciate that. But again, you wish he shoots the ball better. The 2 for 10, and I would say probably at least 3 or 4 of those misses from 3 were wide open. Gary Trent Jr. thought had a good night, 11.6 boards. Bobby Portis, 8.6 boards, 6 assists. Filled up the stat sheet a little bit, but defensively, a lot of lapses. And then you had Gary Trent Jr., 18 points, 2 boards, 2 steals, 1 assist, 1 block. I mean, he's knocking down threes, 6 of 9 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, knocking down threes, playing excellent defense. So again, 2-way player, AJ Green. We talk about the 3 and D guy. We thought we were looking at Gary Trent Jr. We're looking at Taurean Prince. We're looking at those type of players. And AJ Green, we knew he had the 3. Didn't know he had that D. And so now
Hey-o.
I'm just calling like I see it. So Derry Bird was out there pulling it from 3 and playing great defense. So you appreciate that. On the other side, the guy that kept Chicago in the game was Zach Lavine, 27, 5, and 6 for him. He had some ridiculous threes, 4-7 from the 3-point line. Thought Torrey Craig played well as well, former Buck, 15.6 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Thought he played and Giannis puts up 41, but I thought he did as good a job as you could. I mean, that's the thing. Giannis going 41, and I thought Torrey Craig did as good a job as he could do on him. Vooch with 14 and 6 assists as well. Kobe White, 14 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. P. Giddy, Josh Giddey, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. DeSumo with 8 points. And then they had a host of other guys who did some things running around out there as well. But the Bucks win it tonight, 122-106. Really, I mean, they got up to a 17-point lead in the second quarter, and in the third, and I felt the momentum start to shift at the end of the first half, where they were up 15 with about. I always look at this when it happens. It's up 15 with about 3 minutes to go, and I always go, "Hey man, you got to finish the quarter here." And I think they finished up. If I remember, they were up 11 or up 12 at the end of the first half. And it was one of those things where you just, like I said, Zach hit a couple threes. You get a couple turnovers. Those things kind of happen. And you fall off just a little bit. But and then in the third quarter, things again began to spiral. But Giannis, the Bucks scored 29 points in the third quarter. Giannis put up 25 of them. It was a phenomenal third quarter, one of the best quarters I think I've seen from Giannis in quite some time. He just couldn't be stopped, and that's what kept the Bucks afloat. And in the fourth quarter, they only gave up 16 points, scored 24, do everything they need to do to secure a 122-106 victory. Again, on a night like tonight, I could complain. I'm not. You won 4 out of your last 5. I'm appreciating where the Bucks are going. They look much better than they have. Some of the others, you're starting to see them step up. And another night where Pat Connaughton does not play. That's 2 games in a row. That's one time is maybe it's a circumstance. Things happen. 2 games in a row is a coincidence. This is a trend now that Pat Connaughton has not played again. Bucks win at 122-106. That's what I saw. Chris, what you see?
Yeah, Pat must be lying to Doc about his golf score, and he's in the doghouse for that. No, look, this is a good win. This is a good job bouncing back, because you remember you lost to the Bulls earlier on in the season, where I don't think everything was really meshing correctly. You had to incorporate these new guys in, and now you're starting to see them elevate their play to where you can beat a Bulls team now handedly. I got to give some credit to Doc. I think they took away a lot from Kobe White, and that's who really killed us in the first game, and made some of these other no-names beat us. Like you saw, I mean, what was his name? Terry. He was out there shooting wide open from 3. He was making some of them, but listen, it's a similar thing with what we are dealing with Andre Jackson Jr., where, hey, you got to keep that up. And I like how they took the ball out of some of the Chicago's primary scorers' hands. Vooch didn't get up as many shots as he did last game against the Bucks, and neither did Kobe White. AJ Green was phenomenal, guys. Like this is really encouraging to see a guy go. Who is he? 6 of 9 from 3. Like this is awesome. I saw it on both sides of the ball too. Like we talk about that third quarter where Giannis is scoring all the points, literally all the points. But there was, I think the Bulls they cut it to like 2, and then AJ Green on a fast break gets a steal real quick, gives it up to Giannis. Giannis gets it to AJ Green. He scores the first points from the Bucks outside of Giannis in the third quarter. Like to see the chemistry that he's now developing with Giannis and getting the trust involved with Dame and stuff like that. And yeah, man, this is just a good win, a good job by the Bucks to start another win streak after going down to the Hornets, and hopefully keep this thing up before Indy.
Yeah, man, we got those big front running Pacers on there. So that's what you want to do tonight when you got the front running Pacers coming into your house on Friday. You want to start setting the tone and start playing better basketball. Welcome back, Gary Trent Jr. This is a dude who we thought we were going to get in a trade. I know, Trey, you mentioned Pat not being on the floor. It's tough for him to be on the floor with AJ Green playing this well. Brook Lopez, probably one of the best first quarters he's played in an entire Bucks uniform. 15 points in the first quarter, but then he doesn't score again to the fourth. But that's okay, because you had Giannis, you had Dame, you had AJ Green, you had so many guys going crazy. Lavine is good. Like, he's really good. I saw a lot of things that was awesome with that kid creating a shot. Man, and lastly, the thing that I didn't see, but I heard, man, Doris Burke and that other dude with him, man. We spend a lot of time and we talk about people. They got to be some of the most uninformed, terrible, just boring announcers ever. She contradicts herself, says so many dumb things on air. Oh, Brooke really developed that 3-point shot when he was shooting with Coach Bud in Atlanta. When? Where? He didn't develop that 3 there. He really developed the 3 when he came to Milwaukee. Like, if they're not going to do that good on their job, put my boy Chris King on play-by-play. Put the guru on their courtside. Y'all could do a better job than them. Bum and Bummer on the call-by-call tonight. And it's a known fact, ESPN wants him out of there. Sorry, I know I said I'm done. But, Perkins, it seemed like Perkins and Burke going to find something negative to say about this Milwaukee Bucks team. Hold on, man. I'll be right back. I'll go take my blood pressure medicine, man. I'm getting upset.
I like Mark Jones, man. I like Mark Jones. Doris, and I like Mark Jones.
You
I
like
will
Mark
agree.
Jones because he's the Pac-12 guy. When
Yes.
the Pac-12 was alive, so he was calling all the Buffalo's games.
Yes, I like that, and I think he gets some phrases where he definitely works on his craft. I agree. When you have the national TV people on the games, I will 100% agree with you that for whatever reason, I agree, they're just not as informed, and that's why when you are a Bucks fan or you're a fan, local team, you got to come to a place like the Cream City Crossover, where we're going to talk, where we have this institutional knowledge, if you will, about your team, about your squad, about the things that are going on within the basketball team before the national people get them. And of course, we're not talking about Brook Lopez. We know he can shoot the 3 before. I mean, come on. Some of these conversations. Remember, what's funny? One of the things they always talk about, and again, it was probably in the notes, but they didn't get to do it because Pat Connaughton didn't play. Every time a national TV game takes place, what do you always say about Pat Connaughton? What's the only thing they like to tell you?
Athletic.
He's athletic. But did you know he was drafted to play baseball?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, but you can't say that every time you have a national TV game. So I agree with you on some of that as well. I want to shout out Mac P. Mac P giving a super chat, says, "We back, baby. Giannis playing at an MVP level. Bobby needs to be traded." Hey, don't get me started. We talk about Bobby Portis, but shout out Mac P for the super chat. We appreciate it 100% all the time, man. Good job, everybody. We love it. But Mac P does say, the Bucks are back. I 100% agree. That's a good question. As I said it, I started thinking, are the Bucks back? Do you need to see more? 4 out of the last 5. We know they're trending up. I know I have that as a topic. I didn't mean to get to it this far because I kind of wanted to stay on the game. But Mac P, super chat got to get priority. I want to make sure we address this. He says we back, and again, maybe he's being a little facetious. Maybe he's fired up. I'm pumped up too. You've won 4 out of your last 5, as Justin said, 4.5 out of your last 5. Because the Bucks really could be on a 5-game win streak when you see what happened in Charlotte. So I mean, we all agree that was a. But so my question to you guys for Mac P is, when he says we back, baby, are we back, or do you need to see the Milwaukee Bucks do you need to see them in the Emirates NBA Cup against the Indiana Pacers on Friday night? And will you declare them back after that? Because we know what happened with the Pacers last year. I want to give me, and I saw you with your hand raised. Just go ahead, but I just wanted to ask that from Mac P, since he said we back.
Hey, real quick, just heard what Doc said in post-game pressure, so I wanted to give you some of his notes, not to jump on the homie that gave the chat, but it's funny, man. Trey, you mentioned 4.5 out of 5. Reporter goes to Doc, and he said, "Man, you've won 4 out of your last 5." He said, "No, correct that. 5 out of our last 5."
I like that.
He talked about Giannis and Dame really picking their spots and allowing the other guys to feed off of him. Said that Giannis was a great facilitator in that first quarter. Talked about what you talked about. See, the guru, you this is why you get paid to do this. Talked about that stretch, not just in that third quarter, but he also talked about that second quarter when we started letting them guys hit a lot of threes at the end of that half to get it down to 12. We did not put our foot on these guys' necks when we had the opportunity to do it. We let them back in the game, and that's how it came down to this fourth quarter. He said Antetokounmpo was killing in the downhill ball. A lot of those 3-pointers he was talking about in the fourth quarter, the switch in the offense was going from a ISO with Giannis to the double and the pick and roll, and allowing them to either let Giannis go and kill him because he's killing them downhill, or go ahead and hit some of those wide open threes, man. And then last thing that I'll give you from Doc's post game thing, I'll let you go, my guy Chris King. He talked a lot about how teams keep picking on AJ Green, or trying to pick on AJ Green. We hope they keep it up, but AJ Green is earning himself as defensive Derry Bird, in my opinion. Go ahead, Chris King. My bad, bro.
I would say real quickly, we had to make that a segment where we get the Doc Rivers post game press conference update. It's the second time in a row we've done. I like it. Go ahead. Sorry, I like it. Go ahead.
Yeah, to that, I mean, AJ Green, like they said on the broadcast, he hold Jalen Green to 9 of 24 last game, and then now he goes out and plays really tight defense on a number of guys on the Bulls. So I love that. As far as are the Bucks back, I think I need to see more. And here's why. I think we still see some of the same lapses defensively, like we talked about, getting these double-digit leads and then blowing them and then having to fight back into the lead, or make it a clutch time game where there's 2 minutes left and you've got to get the game-winning layup, stuff like that, where I feel like you can still take advantage of the leads that you're building. And then some of the other stuff like offensive rebounding, if we're able to keep more possessions alive per game, I would love that. I think that would determine a lot with this Bucks team, show a little more effort on the offensive glass. But definitely trending in the right direction. And if they're able to make a statement against the Pacers, I would be willing to at least say, yes, they've gotten everybody to buy in now after what was a terrible start to this season. And, yeah, I mean, I would just say that I think we are trending in the right direction. I'm not fully ready to say we're back.
I'm going to say we back. I'm going to say we back, and this is why I'm going to say we back, all jokes aside, though, man. A lot of that stuff, I mean, Khris is absolutely right. That offensive rebound in 3 games in a row, we've kind of seen ourselves killed on the glass, man. But some of the hustle and the effort stuff that we were talking about earlier on in the year against the Knicks and stuff like that, and I know that Brooke looked a little bit slewfoot that night, came from, we still see the effort, though. We see guys going after loose balls, chasing down wide open contests to make it at least a semi-challenge contest, man. This Bucks team, but Giannis seeing the ball go in the bucket and scoring at a different will in a different way each night is amazing. And the thing why I say we're back, because Dame isn't playing to the level that he was about 4 or 5 games ago. He's missing shots and stuff like that. But my biggest pet peeve, find a way to impact that game. He's passing the ball well, and he's making those mid-range shots. But we got to get something consistent about this shooting foul here with this brother. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 of those aren't shooting fouls, but 2 of those had to be. But we're back. We up. Bringing that boy from Oshkosh Bagosh, man.
I don't know if I'll probably go more on the line to Khris here, where we say, are we back? I say, yeah, we're definitely trending up. We're trending in the right direction, doing what we need to do. I don't know if we're back, because back again, and that's my other question is, what does back mean? Does back mean you're
Have
ready?
We even arrived?
Right, right. What are we back from? Right.
Yeah.
Are we back? What is back? Does back mean that you're ready to compete for championships? I'm still in the mindset that I'll never know that until we get 22 back, until I see what 22 looks like, because I have no idea what 22 is going to look like when he comes back. No clue. I still don't think this team, as currently constructed, is good enough to win a championship. So I look at this basketball team in that respect, and I go, we ain't going to be back till we back to having Bobby Portis off this roster. So I still see some issues there. I know it's going to upset. I know it's going to upset some folks. I know it's going to upset Justin, but I'm sorry. I need to see that as well. I just don't think this team is championship caliber. But are they back and competing? Yes. Do I see Giannis doing everything he can do to win? Absolutely. Do I see Dame Lillard, even on an off night, 20, 10, and 5? He still puts in. Somebody in the chat says he still puts in some work. A quick draw McGraw. Dame wasn't great, but he had 20, 10, and 5. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. But yeah, I want to see more. I'm going to see more consistency from Dame. And it's funny because, again, the three-point shot wasn't working. I think he had 13 or maybe 15 going into the fourth, whatever it was. And then there's nothing wrong with the mid-range. Like, somebody got to tell Dame, there is nothing wrong with pulling up, getting to where you want to go, taking that mid-range jumper, getting to the basket and attacking and using your bursts and getting all the way to the cup. There's nothing wrong with that. I think he does that well. And I don't want him to overly rely on that three-point shot when you can continue to get to the basket and when you can score. Again, Dame Lillard, he's a 3-level scorer. You're a 3-level scorer. Use all 3 levels. Let me see what else I see in the chat here really quickly. Emma Smith says, come on in the room. Hey, Cream City Crossover. What's going on? Basketball Reed says, AJ Green was amazing. He absolutely was. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight says, yo. And then let's see. Basketball Reed also says, next week we have lots of time between games. Be the perfect moment to bring Khris back. Plenty of trainings between those games to get him into the offense. We could talk about that. We could definitely talk about that. State of Mind says 2-0 with TA in the house. Yes, it's absolutely. Is that another trend? You see Thanasis sitting around with Peter Fagan. And to that, man, did he not look like a coach? Did he not look like he was up
coaching.
telling guys to get back? I mean, I appreciated it. Let me ask you guys though, that stretch of the basketball game in the third where Chicago was coming back. What did you make of that? Did you see guys? Did you have problem spots with that? Is it just, hey, the Bucks weren't focused? Were there certain guys that weren't focused? Was it, what did you see in that moment? That, like I said, because I got a little bit dicey in the third, a little dicey. I have full faith in the Bucks, but it's one of those things where I wanted to see the Bucks finish. And thankfully in the fourth quarter, they did do that. But I want to see him play a full 48 minutes. A little lapse there. I get it. It happens. But just your overall thoughts on Chicago hitting some shots late in that second and then into the third quarter.
Yeah, ultimately, I think the identity of this team has been throughout this year that we're just very lazy sometimes in transition defense. And a lot of times you'll see maybe missed bunny and guys that let stuff get to them. And then all of a sudden you see these young athletes of Chicago or whoever it may be running out, getting easy buckets, or it's just some maybe miscommunications on defense too. Like we're seeing wide open shooters get open shots, and at the professional level in the NBA, people are going to make those shots, and we can't expect people to just give us one shot and miss a wide open shot. So I think it's some of that, and that's certainly something that the Bucks can fix. Though I think tonight was definitely better from DeLon Wright as well. Like I saw him out there running the floor defensively, offensively, getting everybody involved. So I think once we really figure out who is the core, who are we going to, in these moments when you need to give some guys breathers, then I think they'll be able to clean that up a little bit. But I just think a little bit of laziness.
Yeah, definitely a lack of effort to the defensive end at that stretch of the time. I also feel like the Chicago Bulls, those dudes are pretty decent. I mean, Lavine is probably a borderline all-star, so he was on a heater. But some of these guys, like Chris King, mentioned them, No Name McGraw or whatever that dude name was. I'm being facetious, but the G League, Great White Hope they had in the game, and all them other guys, man, them dudes made some of them wide open shots, and that goes back to what King was just alluding to as far as the effort on that defensive end. But I thought a Doc called a timely timeout, got these boys back in focus, and that intensity picked up a little bit. And the one thing about those guys that barely got their name not stitched on the back of the jersey but ironed on it, like Stacey King whole career should have been. Oh, sorry, I don't like Stacey King for the Bulls as an announcer or a player, by the way. Just throw a jab at him, though. Hopefully he can pronounce Antetokounmpo better, but man.
Stacey King he's an interesting listener as well. I agree with that. He's still probably better than your boy Steve Novak. But but yeah, no, it's interesting. You mentioned it, Chris, that they were lazy in some of the things that go on. I agree, and I think it's just one of those things where you got to get this team to play a full 48 minutes. I also agree. I thought Doc Rivers' last couple games has been excellent. What do you guys make of Pat Connaughton not playing 2 games in a row? Like, I guess when I see that, it's interesting because you mentioned, how can you play when AJ Green's playing that well? I mean, what I love more than I'd love another AJ Green. They have kind of the same kind of body makeup. I'd love another AJ Green out there that can do it, that can do that. And Pat Connaughton, for all intents and purposes, could be able to do that. I mean, AJ Green, the performance was on both ends it was lights out. Like, he got on Zach Lavine, he stays in front of guys. I think guys see him and they think one thing, and then like you mentioned, Doc Rivers said in his post-game presser, yeah, AJ Green's a tough out defensively every time. And that's one of those guys, the perimeter defensive players. And then you look it up on the other side, it's not too often where you got, he's basically, he's Kyle Korver, but he's out there defending you up too. So it's one of those. AJ Green is a weapon for the Milwaukee Bucks right now, and you look at him and you try to find different ways to get him on the floor and stay on the floor. Somebody mentioned to me, it's like, oh well, I would start him, and I think you keep him on. I like him. I really do like him off of the bench because I think you need that spark off the bench. But what do you guys make of? So Pat Connaughton now not playing. Ryan Rollins will be playing, but for the fact that he's now hurt, we'll see what happens with him.
Somebody said in the chat, my bad, I mean to cut
Go
you
ahead.
off, but
You got it.
Rollins might be out for the season with a dislocated shoulder. They're talking about surgery for it. Have
Oh,
either one of
they're
y'all
talking about
heard that?
surgery? I had not heard. I didn't not heard they were talking about surgery for it.
That was a State of Mind that said that too, by the way. Sorry, give credit where credit's due.
That's interesting. But go ahead with that. I'm gonna look up. I see dislocated. Wow. So a dislocated shoulder typically takes. I'm just reading this. Typically takes about 12 to 16 weeks to fully recover, but you can usually resume most activities within 2 weeks. Type of it can, of course, depends on the type of dislocation, severity, etc., etc. The way I've heard, I mean, it sounded like the other night I was watching, like I said, the main broadcast tonight on ESPN, but the other night it sounded like Marcus Johnson said, well, he'll be out for some more games, but he didn't make it seem like it was going to be season ending. So that's interesting. That's first I've heard of that, but that's interesting on him. But yeah, what do you make of, like I said, some of these rotations that Doc, and again, I think Doc Rivers has played this out great, and that's why we're going to get to the Khris Middleton thing right after this. But again, I'm looking at where we are minutes wise, and I'll have to look and see where Giannis is. But you remember those Bud years where Giannis was playing 30 minutes a night. You know, he was getting hard to get 30 minutes a night because they were getting blowouts all the time. Giannis was routinely at 35, 36 minutes. And that's where Khris Middleton could come in and really drive that down a bit. And I'm just looking at the workload, 35 minutes for Giannis tonight, 34 minutes for Brook Lopez, 35 minutes for Damian Lillard to try to stave off the Chicago Bulls. And looks like that's what it's going to be every single night to win games. What do you make up of the bench and how this thing is going? The Bucks are really, I mean, I'm looking, this is basically 8-man rotation. It's basically 8-man. You play Gary Trent 29 minutes, AJ Green 28 minutes, Bobby Portis 22 minutes. I guess DeLon Wright played 12. I mean, so but again, you really mix that in with Andre Jackson only playing 13 minutes. So it wasn't like Andre Jackson played legit starter minutes anyway. So that's basically like one legit player in there. So I mean, yeah, you basically technically you're an 8-man rotation in the middle in November.
A lot of questions you just posed there to us.
Sorry, I know. I went a lot of places.
You're good. No, as it directly relates to AJ Green and Pat Connaughton, I just think that AJ Green is way more active offensively in trying to get his shot. Like you see him rolling around screens, fading away, shooting, letting it fly, all confidence. And I'm just not so sure I'm seeing that with Pat lately. And it's pretty much been the story with Pat the past couple regular seasons as well, following the title run, where you think he would have the confidence to really shoot whatever, but a lot of times passing up shots or just hesitating. And I think AJ Green gets you a better look there right now if he's knocking it down at this level. And then as far as the bench goes, yeah, we would love to have Rollins. I saw Todd in the chat saying that we could replace him easily. I don't feel that same sentiment. I do think that he gives you a really lengthy defender at the one spot that if DeLon Wright is not playing well, then you can go to Ryan Rollins right off the bench, and he still has to learn a little bit, but I do think he would be a good option. And then, yeah, like it's a great problem to have, like we talked about, because last postgame we said that, look, 2 games into this post-game show this season, and we were already freaking out about where the bench minutes would come from. But now it's like, all right, you know, if these 3 additions that we just got, DeLon Wright, Taurean Prince, and Gary Trent Jr. are stepping up and playing to their best ability, I don't really care where the minutes goes if they're going to keep winning games.
Yeah, I mean, so real quick before I get to my thought, I almost forgot something in the beginning, man. In the words of them prophets from Milwaukee, Tim Allen and the pipe bomb, we hope you Chicago fans pay them tolls, let the toll booths hit you on your way on back across that state line. Don't come up to our house no more, you bums. That's why your Bears lost 2 Sunday, you bums. Your Cubs probably losing and they ain't even playing, you bums. Anyways, sorry. The bench rotation, man. So this is what I've seen. Rollins got on the court, and all of a sudden, Wright's minutes got shrunk. Gary Trent Jr.'s minutes got shrunk, partly because he was hurt. But I feel like even when he was coming back a little bit healthy, his minutes got shrunk. What did that do? That made Wright play better. Wright's been playing pretty good these last couple of games. One thing I'm going to push back on about Pat Connaughton, we wouldn't have been in that Hornets game had it not been for Pat's clutch plays in the fourth quarter. So I understand we all want to get rid of him and stuff like that, but I'm talking to y'all folks in the chat because y'all want to get rid of Brook Lopez too. And now that dude, he keep playing like this. He going to be a fringe all-star. Keep it up, bro.
Fringe. Fringe All-Star might be a little overzealous there.
Well, we ain't got to count. Embiid ain't gonna be there this year because Paul George hurt again.
He will not.
Miles Turner won't be there again.
And it's so funny because you speaking of the ESPN guys, you talked about them. We'll get to Khris Middleton right after this. But you talked about at the beginning here. You talked about Doris Burke and your boy Mark Jones. But like you said, the studio guys like Perk, Richard Jefferson, those folks. And I just, those are the guys. And what's my man from used to be the GM for the Warriors. He be in there. Bob Myers being there talking crazy too. For whatever reason, they love to talk crazy about the Bucks. And it's crazy. I was watching ESPN the other day, and I can't remember, it was Chiney and somebody else saying they would much rather be, who would you rather be, the Philadelphia 76ers or the Milwaukee Bucks right now? And everybody across the table, we'd rather be Philly because they got this coming back. Why con man activity that you think that Joel Embiid is they just missing Joel Embiid. He's coming back to what? Like, no, he's not. Like, the work ethic isn't there. He got called out in the meeting by Tyrese Maxey. What's the man? Coach RJ always being. I ain't seen Coach RJ in a minute. He always being here talking crazy about the Bucks. Bucks on the way up. Philly might not make. Again, the East is bad right now, but I don't know what Philly got going. You said they're losing. I didn't check the score of the game, but you got Embiid not playing well. He's out of shape. He's not. He can't continue playing. And now you got Paul George, who now like he's stealing money from the Philadelphia 76ers. It's rough right now in Philly. So I fear for those guys and what they have going on. But yeah, you should easily want to be the Bucks where you have a Giannis who's playing at MVP level. You have Damian Lillard who at least gonna show up every night. And you're just waiting on Khris Middleton, who again, hopefully when he's right, he's gonna be right. Let's get into Khris Middleton for a second here. Story. Shams basically repeating what I said. Because the crazy thing, I told you guys this a month ago. But Shams finally got the tweet, and Shams, for whatever reason, he didn't. Hey, I ain't get no credit. Where's my they say get it saying sources told ESPN. Hell, I should have been a damn source. But Shams, now y'all believe when Shams said, okay, I say nobody believe it. Shams said now it's true. Shams says Milwaukee Bucks star Khris Middleton has been medically cleared for a period of time, which again shows you that everything I said, because he didn't just say he's now been medically cleared. He said a period of time, which means, like I told you a month ago, that period of time. So let me break some. That period of time has been about a month. He's been cleared for about a month medically, but is still working to feel physically ready for the season debut from double ankle surgery. Sources told ESPN. So yeah, it goes back to the report I gave you a month ago, where it's a pain tolerance thing for Khris Middleton. The bilateral ankle surgery, both of them out. It literally, that's what it is. That's what it was. And again, the Bucks were kind of telling you this kind of stuff, but where do you guys? I guess I'll only ask one question here. And Todd, yeah, Shams Crosby the third guru, Hunt Jackson, Shams stole your flow, bar for bar, exactly. Embiid had 35 and 11 tonight. Excuse me, I wasn't familiar with the game.
Well, they lost to the John Morant list Grizzlies.
Okay, good.
And
they lost?
Yeah, they lost 117-111. And this was the first game Maxey, Embiid, and Paul George played together, but Paul George went out early. So that's another thing. Like, that's a sure warning that's how it could end. Is like you got all three of them back, but is one of them going to stay? Was one of them going to get hurt? No, I don't know.
Right, exactly. But let me. So going on Khris Middleton, and I won't ask a multitude of questions, but I want to get into again his whole thing is, and again the Bucks kind of told you this with where they felt about him and how they felt about him, because when you heard the updates, it doesn't make sense that you can play 3-on-3, you can't play 5-on-5. So where do you guys line up on Khris Middleton, where he's saying, doctor's saying you are physically ready to go? There's nothing more we can do for you medically. This is a pain tolerance issue. And Khris Middleton is saying, I have pain in my ankles while I'm trying to play basketball. I don't like this. And I can't go out there if I'm going to step out in the court with pain. Do you think that this is a situation where Khris Middleton should play through some of these issues and ramp up? Or are you saying, well, Khris Middleton, he has pain. He's got to step back. He shouldn't play at all until he's fully pain free. And then my question there is, Well, what if this pain? What if that's just your reality now, big dog? What if your reality is, yeah, your legs are cooked, your ankles are cooked. When you play basketball, you might have a little pain. Where are we at on that?
I mean, it's a never-ending cycle here. I would love for Khris in a dream world to be able to ramp up and be able to be out there and take the stress off of Giannis and Dame, because this is the biggest thing with this whole how this situation plays out 9 times out of 10 is Giannis. You just broke down the minutes. Giannis goes 35 plus, Dame goes 34. If that's sustainable and they make it to the playoffs with no injuries, we got to be thanking God from the heavens above, because I just don't see a reality where Giannis at this point in his career and Dame at this point in his career with a little bit of injury history, and we saw it bite him in the butt against the Pacers last year. I don't see a reality that none of these guys face any hardship with Middleton not being in the, like, it's just, I don't know. It's a tough question though, because you think you think to how much money you paid this guy. You think about how he does perform in the playoffs, that like we saw last year, and you want to give some lenience there, but it's been too much for me. So yeah, would love for him to be playing right now.
I mean, all great points. I'm gonna lean on the side where I say let that dude sit back until he can get confident on those ankles, man. 2 ankle surgeries in one offseason is crazy, right? He doesn't, like, we've seen Pat Bev play on a sprained ankle before for us, right? We've seen insert play. We saw Giannis play on a bionic leg and win a championship for us, right? I think the thing that we're failing to realize with Khris is, this should be Alpha Muno. This should be something psychological. Absolutely it is. Because think about it. When Giannis hurt that one leg, he had a leg he could favor. He has nothing he can favor right now. Both of those ankles were jacked. He got them cleaned up. Let's just be patient with Khris. Because, well, with both Chris's. With my dating friend too. But Khris mentioned it with Paul George coming back and getting hurt. And then who knows, like, a hamstring is something that's going to linger for a long time potentially. I mean, I'm from the state of Wisconsin. Clay Matthews had a hamstring every week. We seen it. Khris Middleton was sidelined almost an entire year. But now that hamstring came all the way off the body, so that's completely different. We gotta be patient with Khris, man. Just like we gotta be patient with Doc. And, the guru gotta be patient with Bobby Portis and them 6 damn assists.
I gotta be patient with Bobby Portis. Khris, let me be clear about where I'm on Khris Middleton. This is, if the Milwaukee Bucks do not win a championship, this is last year in Milwaukee. Like, you can't do this. And no fault of him. You can't have Giannis again, because what I mentioned that on purpose. The minutes Giannis and Dame are having to play, and I'll before the next game, I'll look and see where we are as far as what the minutes look like from a couple years ago, from the Bud era to right now. I wasn't surprised. Again, here's the other thing: when Khris inevitably comes back in April, this was gonna piss me off. If Khris comes back, close, and here I come, Khris Middleton. I'm balling now. I didn't sat out all year. And here I come, give you 25 a game, 25 a night before the playoffs start, and then Giannis goes down with a non-contact injury, and Dame is limping, and everybody hurt. And it's like, because y'all, I'm knocking wood, but everybody has. I hope it. Like I said, pray it don't happen. But everybody's had to put in the work all year long. And again, no fault of his own. I get it. If you feel hurt, you're hurt. I'm sure he does feel pain. I don't discredit him at all. I 100% think he hurts. I'm not. His legs are cooked, just like that. The thing's off the bone. The thing's gone.
Ain't that what they do in Central when them boys get beat? Do that again.
Yeah, they do something like that.
Put that bird down.
Right. So like, it's when your legs are cooked like that, and it's just, you're a cooked product. There are moments, just like Embiid, different level there, where there's moments where Embiid is, but it's never an if, it's a win. At some point, Embiid's not gonna be able to give you what you want him to give you. And if your solution is we got to sit him 50 games out of the year, and everybody else has to work that much harder throughout the year, yeah, there's no question Giannis and Dame will look a little bit worse than they should at the end of the year because you had to go through Khris Middleton, your third best player who should be with these bench lineups, should be helping out. He's not there. So I think you're, to me, you are 100% 1 year away from you having to find a way to get Khris Middleton off this roster.
Well, and then there's also something to be said about obviously ramping him up either halfway through the season or whenever the hell he's going to come back. It affects the team. Like, how are we going to implement him back into the lineup and get him touches when, okay, we're on another win streak right now and we're trying to get back to 500. That's the goal right now. We're finally figuring out how to play together. And then now you insert him who admittedly, I mean, he's got to get the ball. He's got to play with the ball in his hands. And I think that there's some concern in that because we saw it happen last year too. Like we dealing with the same thing pretty much, except for I think he obviously came back earlier than now. But it's still, you got to implement him. He's on and off, not playing much throughout the regular season, and it does affect the team chemistry, I will say.
Real quick before I get to my point on that, because I thought y'all brothers said a lot of good things to that. I think we need to add that to the look around or at some point with that 608 UW is talking about with the Rockets saying they're good on Giannis. I think that's a big one for us tonight, man. Shout out to 608 UW, man. That university keep winning, making Chris King and JT mad, man. They keep winning. Free great guard. Hey, look, so I hear what y'all saying about Middleton, and absolutely Middleton, all that stuff is true. But you know me, man. I should borderline be Mr. Milwaukee. That's what I really should be. I'm looking at the positive in this joint, right? The positive in this joint is AJ Green has the opportunity to be AJ Green. Chris King's boy, Riley and Rollins, had the opportunity to get the floor and show what he can do. DeLon Wright has had an opportunity to struggle and play better. Pat Connaughton, in that Hornets game, had an opportunity to help us get to a point where LaMelo Ball got a crazy foul call when he tripped over them ugly-ass Pumas. I'll never let it go. I'm sorry. I hate you, Charlotte. I hate every team there. I even hate Bryce Young now because LaMelo Ball Pumas. Sorry,
hey, come on, man.
I hate him. I hate the soccer team. Who won a soccer jersey? Free 99. Look, these other dudes get the opportunity to hoop, though, and that's the most important part, man. Let these dudes. So now when we get in the playoffs, or if we get in another stretch where Dame has to go down, Giannis, if anybody else goes down, these guys are starting to get their opportunity, which is why I kind of low-key hope that I am a homer. I kind of hope that low-key the Rollins boy or Tyler Smith can get on the floor just in case something happens to Brooke.
Yeah, I would love to see Tyler Smith play. So let me ask you guys this: when do you think Khris Middleton comes back? And I have no insight into this. When do you think, again, because we're 15% of the season essentially done here, whatever we are. The Bucks are 6-9 at this point. So you're getting close to 20 games. When do you think Khris Middleton comes back? And what do you think it looks like?
I don't really know when a good time to come back is right now. Like, if I would just say it's on him basically when he feels better. But I mean, that's the cliche answer. But realistically, I mean, you've got to be back before February, I would think, just because you're going to have to go into that stretch where, before All-Star break, hopefully you can get some wins before All-Star break. You never know if the team's going to be shaken up, before the deadline. So getting comfortable with the guys will be there. So, yeah, I mean, I would love for him to be back before, All-Star break at least. Somebody just said, broadcaster said next week. So shoot, if it's next week, I love it. And then
who said that?
Freak time.
Okay, they said Chris next week. Okay, good.
And so Todd said it. Todd said it too, and good. I don't want to Stacey King his name, so we're just gonna call the homie Todd.
Yeah, so I would say what it looks like when he comes back. I mean, we've talked about this before. Is how does he look off the bench? How does he look 15 minutes a night, 10 minutes a night, whatever he has to do to feel comfortable out there, getting back up to game speed? Because at this point in his career, I mean, he's older. His defense is not what it used to be. but the scoring is still there. It can still come catch and shoot, and a little bit of isolation, old man ball. Like, you can have that if you can get that off of your bench right now for 10 minutes a night, 15 minutes a night during the ramp up. I think it would be beneficial. The question would be does it look like vintage Khris Middleton offensively? Does it look like he can at least run the floor a little bit and guard somebody for 10 minutes when maybe the other team has their best offensive options out? And I don't know. I can't give you a full definite answer on that if that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah, you would think that when he comes back, he should be pain free, should be playing 100%. I'm glad to hear that it hopefully is next week. I want to see that. I want to see him back next week.
Doc said it in the pregame too. That he'll
Doc has been saying so many things. He's been close to playing all. He was close. Doc, Khris was supposed to. They were at last I heard they were saying he was gonna get some time in the preseason. So I'm still waiting. I don't know. I don't believe nothing Doc say. But again.
Never mind. Hey, look. Yeah. Hey, Doc said he'd be back next week. But
yeah, hey, okay.
Hey, real quick. One of the reasons why this brother has these ankle problems, let's not forget that closeout by Kevin Durant, where he landed on his ankle and he darn near could. So I mean,
yeah.
And so the other guy in the chat was talking about the psychological stuff. If you got two bad ankles, and I don't think Kevin Durant did anything intentional or dirty.
Right.
That's not my point.
Right.
But my point is, if you know two of them joints is bad, it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be really questionable. So, like Khris said, man, get some buckets in the old man game, beat up on their second string, and then slowly work your way back into being cash money.
Well, I also wonder what it's going to look like when a week later comes around and Middleton is still nowhere to be found, and they ask him in the post game or pre-game, "Where's Khris?" and it's the same answer. That's one of my biggest problems with how the Bucks have kind of handled this as a team.
And I wonder how this finally leaked to Shams, where he, that gives me. I just have pause and wonder if somebody is internally, the team is wanting and pressuring him to play. Because again, when you're medically cleared and you paying somebody that you have medically cleared to play, you want that guy on the floor. And so to hear him say, I can't play, I'm hurt. When the doctor's saying he can go, we ain't nothing else we can do. That's a tough pill to swallow when you're paying somebody $30+ million. So I wonder if any of that is a part of it as well. I saw one of the quick John McGraw says, hopefully Khris is not coming back, just play 12, 15 minutes a night for 3 weeks. Yeah, that's, that wouldn't be good. That would not be that. I don't think that would be ideal. Again, there has to be some type of a ramp up, but yeah, I'm hoping it's not one of these long ramp ups where you got a month of 15 minutes a night. Like, when are you going to be ready to play basketball? But we'll see. You know who's always ready?
Who that?
Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill out in Lakeview Boulevard, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They always ready to go over there at Curly's. And you know what they are doing on Wednesdays and Thursdays?
Trivia.
What they got, Khris King?
They got bingo. They got trivia Wednesday and Thursday nights. Bingo and trivia. Get on down to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, proud sponsor of the Cream City Crossover. And you know what they're doing? If you win bingo night, if you go out there and ball out on trivia night, you know what they're doing?
Tickets.
They're giving away tickets. Section 102, row 23, seats 1 and 2. I had somebody ask me before, are they good seats? Are they nosebleeds? No, they end up in the nosebleeds. You ain't gonna be sitting up there in the rafters with Sting. You're gonna be down there on the 100 section 102, row 23, seats 1 and 2, having a good time. Tonight's game was on ESPN. So you know what they had?
$3 bottles and pints.
$3 bottles and pints, because it was a televised Milwaukee Bucks game. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, your headquarters for all Bucks action. And then, it's the month of November, so you know what they're doing? A bourbon raffle to benefit the Milwaukee Food Pantry. One raffle, 12 winners. Tickets can be purchased the entire month of November, $5 each or $10 for $40. Winners will be drawn and notified on Monday, December the 2nd, 100%. That means every single portion of the ticket sales will be donated directly to the food pantry. Great job going over there at the Milwaukee Food Pantry. Please head on down to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Have some fun out there and do your thing and get some drinks, have some good time. But like I said, speaking of trivia, one more thing. The mother of which former Milwaukee Buck was one of 4 in a Reebok commercial? Anybody remember this?
I'm going to say Glenn Robinson because he's a Reebok athlete.
You are incorrect. It's the first one you've missed. Let's go, Chris King. Who you got? What you got? Former Buck. It was a good guess on Glenn Robinson.
Can we get any hints? Any hints? Any multiple
hints
choice?
I'm not gonna give you multiple choice. The hint's gonna be easy.
All right,
Alien. Oh, that's easy, Chris.
Who?
Alien.
Ray Allen? No.
Ray Allen. Justin, no. If I say
Sam
Alien,
Cassell.
Sam Cassell. Hey,
Oh,
that's crazy work. I said Alien, my man say Sam Cassell. That shows what you think about Sam Cassell. They look like I ain't say it. I just said Alien and came up with Sam Cassell. That's crazy work.
Hey, he a Boston Celtics coach. He the ugliest coach on the sideline.
Hey, yo.
I said what I said.
Bird Bear said, you got it. Bird Bear said Sam Cassell, African man for 3. Thought it was Brandon Jennings. No, sir. It was the only Sam Cassell. So good job. It was a nice trivia question. Good guess there, all the way around. What'd you say?
I said Curly's.
Curly's, absolutely. Curly's for Waterfront Swiss Bar and Grill. Speaking of former Bucks, did you see Pat? Not Pat. Pat Bev was at the game tonight. So that was good too to see him there. Let's go to the Twitter and see what we got on Twitter. Some of the comments. At Bucks versus the World says starting to build a solid playoff rotation consisting of Dame, Giannis, Brook, AJ Green, Prince, Ajax, Bobby looks like a huge defensive liability, unfortunately, and we haven't factored in Khris Middleton with his return looming. Pat Connaughton picked up another DNP, by the way. Yes, he did. And again, you talk about this playoff rotation. We got to get in the playoffs first. I still think there's some moves to be made, so I won't go there. At the other Robin 19 says AJ Green should start. I'm of the mindset AJ Green should come off the bench. I think you need that bench production. He can still play 25, 30 minutes a night as he can play starter minutes, but I like that bench production from him providing a spark, especially when you need one. At J_Cold is Jelly says the Bucks have moved from bad to mid, which still isn't where you want to be, but moving in the right direction. At DTP Virgo says get number 9 out of Milwaukee on the first thing smoking. At Justin 1MK says good team win. Giannis has been carrying this team, but we're going to make a deep run to playoffs. Dame must find a way to play more consistently. At the Wisconsin Kid says find Bobby replacement and we're cooking. Got some pieces to work with and we need Dame 3-ball to get going, but we have a team. Do a couple more here. Cloud Festy says the sooner Bobby Portis gets off this team, the better. At Sunk345 says if we stop overhelping on threes and giving no effort on defensive rebounds, we're the best team in the NBA. I don't know about best team in the NBA. At Adrian Stravor says obviously we like to win, but would love a game where it's complete 4 quarters of domination. And I'll do 2 more. At Notions of Nick says a healthy 22 can make a big difference for this team, either on this team or as a trade asset. And then last one at DJ BOB says no Pat plus less Bobby shots equals easy W. So you had quite a few shots of Bobby Portis there. People want him off the team. And sorry, that's the group consensus. Go ahead.
Bobby gonna play better when Khris Middleton come back because a lot of those shots that everyone complaining about should be able to lessen them. He gonna do all right, man. Get Khris Middleton back and the entire bullpen is put in order, and we're good, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We talked about it. The fact that Khris Middleton, or at least the fact that Bobby Portis, in a lot of people's opinion, or at least in my opinion, he plays better. I think a depth. He needs more depth and can play better with more depth instead of having to be relied upon to be a vocal piece or a focal piece of an offense. So yeah, you can add Khris to those bench rotations, those bench lineups. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he should play better, but we'll see again. Some of the stuff is effort, though. Some of the stuff is effort. 608 UW says at this point, if we can manage Khris Middleton, get him healthy for playoffs, if we can make it and can beat Khris Middleton half good games, I'll take it if we're healthy.
I'm ready to guarantee the Bucks make the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs. Yeah. I mean,
Chris King.
There. Come on, that's a guarantee.
Yeah,
Guarantee.
Guarantee.
Yeah,
They'll make playoffs. There's no question about that.
We might need to check those odds, man. We need one of them casinos.
Oh, it's like minus like 650. I think Vegas knows too.
We need one of them King Lock bets or something like that, man. Get one of them casinos, get up in here and sponsor us real quick so we can go ahead on and bet on this stuff.
All right, let's see what we do. Let's make some calls and see if we can get some at least draft somebody come over here and get us and get us. Oh, and the 600 DB saying 1 to 2 good games of the series. Yeah, I got you there.
You already breaking news better than Eric Name, so give us a sponsor too. Get on in there.
Hey, man, get me on the plane with the team. That's what you need to do. I'll find some more scoops the closer I am to the action. Let's go ahead and go to game balls. In a big time dub for the Milwaukee Bucks, 122-106. Who are you giving your game balls? I'll let you guys. Well, I mean, I think it's obvious, but I'll let you guys start it off on game balls.
Is it obvious? I'm gonna go with Derry Bird here. I'm gonna go with Derry Bird. Okay. The way he was stroking that thing, shooting it in people's eyes. That's just what I live for. I love seeing it from AJ Green. No, in all seriousness though, I thought he hit some big shots. He was ready for the moment, and I also will say this: I felt like his energy out there was different tonight. Like I could see after he knocked down a 3, he might fist pump. He might, jump around, do whatever. Like I like that energy from the young guy. It shows me that his confidence is getting there, and would love to see that continue and keep its stride.
So I'm gonna give mine to that old man that everybody wanted to be traded. We're looking at, hey, we need this more athletic big. We need that more athletic big. Look, Guru Thee. I'm going to go to Splash Mountain. Welcome back home, Splash Mountain. He's splashing that thing on these boys. But the thing that he's doing, I'm just following Chris King. The thing that he's doing is defense. And I would love to see him play against the big cat again. Because I see him on these switches and stuff like that. He's moving his feet a lot better, man. So, hey, man, shout out to Splash Mountain. It's all about the bigs, baby.
I agree. He did have a very good night tonight. I'm going. So yeah, I guess I'll make it the easy one for you. 41, 9, and 8. One steal tonight for Giannis Antetokounmpo in 35 minutes. That third quarter was exceptional. What I hope we don't do, and I've said this before on this program, what I hope we do not do is get immune to some of the stuff we see from Giannis, where it's like, oh yeah, we see this all the time. This is not human level stuff we're seeing. Like this is top of the line. You are watching. If you go to 5-star form, and I encourage everybody, if you haven't seen Giannis in person, you need to do it. You need to get down to 5-star form. I get it. Tickets are expensive. The economy's I get it. Scrounge up them pennies, dog. Get yourself down to 5-star form and watch them boys play some basketball because, you just never know when you're going to see a competitor like this. I give this story all the time. I know Jay probably gets tired of me telling the story. I told the story all the time about how I wish – back in college, man, I'm a huge Kanye West fan. I was in DC back then. I can't remember what I think it's Capital One Center. It was the Verizon Center when I was in DC at Howard University. Kanye would come through every single year, and I was in every single year. Kanye, this is height of Kanye 2010, 2014. Kanye was there every single year, and every year I'd be like, I ain't got it, man. I can't go to that tonight. It's too much. It's too much. And man, and you would just. I think back on those moments, and I think now I would not have missed that, whatever it was. I should have found a way to get to one of them Kanye concerts because I don't know when to go. I don't know that there's going to be a reunion concert where Kanye get back into the and is doing tour. I don't know what it's going to look like.
It's crazy. I saw him do a Sunday service in Dayton, Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, I was there. How
was I saw him do a concert in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Did you see
the best concert ever? Watch the Throne, Greensboro, North Carolina.
That's great.
Chris Paul was out there. Pusha T was out there. Them brothers were 2 hours late. 2 hours late. I was an hour late, and I got there an hour before them.
And it's great. And
all of a sudden, they came up out the floor.
And the only Kanye West concert I ever saw was I went to an Usher concert, 8701, and Kanye and John Legend were opening for Usher, but I never saw
at the time.
I was like 10. I was like 11.
Dang.
8701.
Hey, look,
I'm 10 years old.
I'm sure my Uncle Duff in the chat right now. This is chalkboard on fingernails on the chalkboard for him. And but whatever, man. Bucks won tonight. We beat the hell out of Kanye team, so we up
against Chicago. Yeah. So but yeah, man, I'm just saying, my point in all of that is go see them boys play basketball. Todd Merrill says the Bucks are giving away tickets this year. I do know tickets have come down for the Bucks. So again, rough start. We'll see if those things get back to where they were. I know when they first opened Fiserv, Bucks come off championship, tickets were going crazy. But yeah, maybe they have. I'm not in Milwaukee anymore, so I'm not in tune with all the ticket prices. But yeah,
trivia.
Right. Or thank you. Go down to Curly's. Go play some trivia. Go play some bingo. And win yourself some tickets down there at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Great point there. Let's do a look around the NBA. The Golden State Warriors, the Bucks won 122-106. Of course, the Rockets, fresh off a loss to the Bucks, beat the Pacers 130-113 tonight. The Grizzlies beat the 76ers. 76ers are now 2-12. You talk about a hole they are digging for themselves. If you are, and when I'm looking, I saw Embiid limping. If you are a 76ers fan, or if you are, let me say this, if you are a 76ers believer, you talk about a team. I wonder what their odds are at making the playoffs when you're sitting there and when they're sitting there at 2-12 right now. Man, that is a serious hole that they have dug for themselves. The Bucks have started digging their way out. 76ers are continuing to dig further into it as they lose to the Grizzlies. Right. And let me say something. They deserve it. I hate what they did to their fans, but that's tough. The Thunder 109-99 over the Blazers. The Cavaliers are 16-1. They did lose to the Celtics the other night. I watched that game. Thought it was interesting. I thought Boston again was clearly the class of them, but Boston, when they're not making threes, they allow anybody to come back on them. The Cavs made that a game. They win by 28 over the Pelicans. Clippers and the Magic are in it right now. Second quarter. Clippers 38, Magic 36. Knicks are blowing out the Suns right now at halftime. Warriors blowing out the Hawks right now at halftime. And let's do our look around. I know what do you want to get into, Justin?
I want to talk about what 608, but Giannis to the Bucks. But can I add some of that old Dairyland to that look around?
Add what? Yeah. What you want to add to it?
Hey man. So first of all, Pat Murphy, Milwaukee Brewers, Manager of the Year, first one Milwaukee Brewers have ever had, and big shout out to Chris King, man. Tough week for that brother. Badgers won, UW Milwaukee won, and them Marquette Golden Eagles, they went up on them Purdue Boilermakers. Hey, that flying might be getting grounded, my brother. We got some Cody's bourbon for you.
No, the Dayton Flyers didn't lose this week either, so I'm good. I'm just waiting until they get to the Maui Invitational. It should be fun.
Yeah, so you are correct. Again, going out to Dayton, December the 14th for that the Dayton Marquette game. Going to be a fun one. Both of those teams, talk about trending up. Both of those teams playing very well. Playing some good basketball. And then of course Pat Murphy, like I said, Manager of the Year. And in 608 got into the report that the Rockets were not interested in Giannis Antetokounmpo because they didn't want to trade their young core. And to me, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Number one, who told them that y'all was interested in them? He didn't. Y'all didn't get in. Yeah, I didn't get invited to the. I'm not interested in going to what? Who does the white party? Is that Michael Rubin? Who does the white party? Is that
Michael Rubin?
Yeah, I'm not. Hey, I'm not going, Mike. I'm not going to the white party. I ain't get invited. What do you mean? He ain't going. We don't want Giannis. He's not available for you to want anyway. So I just big load of nothing. I wouldn't trade Sengun for Sengun as a pick for Giannis. How stupid is that? Hey, what are you talking about? I would trade Sengun, Dylan Brooks. You should give up your entire team for Giannis. You should, if he was even available to you. You should give up the team, the coach. You should give us Ime Udoka. Give us every draft pick you got. Ime Udoka. You'd have to take Doc Rivers. You'd have to take Pat Connaughton. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You had to take Brook Lopez too, because you should have got him. And Bobby Portis. And then you got to give us every pick you got, plus all of your team. Y'all can keep who will let you keep?
Steven Adams.
Yeah, y'all keep Steven Adams. Steven Adams, Giannis, Pat, Bobby, and Doc Rivers. And y'all take Marjan too.
Hey.
Yeah, take him for sure.
Stop it.
I would say this about like all these reports that float around Twitter that I see, whether it's Giannis to the Rockets or Giannis is the Heat are going to have there's really no team outside of maybe the Thunder that we talked about that really have a package that I would be willing to move Giannis. I will, first of all, I wouldn't be willing to move Giannis anyway. But like I just laugh at some of these things that just come across on Twitter because it's just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Giannis is a buck, man, and it'll have to be catastrophic for him to request his way out, I think. And they're figuring it out right now. There should be no turmoil around the Bucks right now as they go on their second win streak of the season and on the way back to 500.
So I'm gonna bring this because homie JT got load management tonight. So I'm gonna bring it to the JT. This like Chris King done divorced a girl or dropped a girl about 2 years ago. Now you see this young brother out here doing well, face of the franchise, Cream City, biggest dude ever. And then now he dropped her 4 years ago. Now she back when he got that new thing, looking like Lauren London. I'm a little older, so Lauren London still do it. Looking like Lauren London, you like, hey, I was going to get back with you, but I ain't want you no more because you already doing great. You successful. You so awesome. Everything that I got over here ain't half as good as what you got. Like, shorty, go get in your Toyota Camry and drive home, man. It's Bentley level flow over here. We ain't even paying attention to you. Hey, whoever the Rockets GM is, we don't know you, but your phone number don't work, bro. Only time we go to 703 is to see Meg.
I'm with you on all that, man. Like it's a total joke. Todd has been on this rampage that Giannis is gonna get traded and all this stuff. He's been saying it for 2 years. He said that the Bucks should have traded Dame last year. Todd, I've never seen a Bucks fan who was like so ready for a rebuild. Like I don't understand. I don't understand it. And number one, I don't understand it. It's not gonna happen. But yeah, it's such a non-story. Again, if Giannis asked out, but I don't think Giannis gonna ask out. Go ahead.
I need to go get in that Curly's raffle for that bourbon, man. Hey Curly, can you get that brother 2 bottles of that bourbon? Matter of fact, we might get Chris King to sponsor that, man. Golly.
Yeah, man. I'm not understanding that one at all. I'm not ready for rebuild. Don't want it. I'm just. It's like I said, it's Houston. Again, Houston has assets. Brooklyn got some cool, but y'all ain't. It's just not happening. It's not. Why would you do it again? That's my other question. How does that get Giannis close to a championship? Even if your theory was okay, Giannis doesn't want to be in Milwaukee more because they can't win a championship. Even if that's your theory, how does trading all your assets and then going with a couple guys in Houston? How does that get you? How does that get Houston? How does that get Giannis close to a championship anyway? I don't understand it. So.
Hey, everybody talk bad about Jimmy Haslam, including me. I don't like him. That man is not. Look, when Jimmy Haslam signed that check to be a part owner, Giannis is never leaving. Go ahead, stamp it here, put it here, bookmark it, at me, and whatever you want to do. Giannis is never leaving as long as Jimmy's here. He financially won't let it happen.
And I think Giannis is the type of guy. I mean, to me, you have your legacy set. As long as the Bucks are committed to winning the championship, your legacy set. I don't know. I mean, you've been here this long. Is there a reason to go sell out and go and try to chase? Yeah, that's the thing. You've won it. I can see if you're Dame and you haven't won a chip. You won a chip. Go be Dirk. And why would you leave this? Why would you won a title? Don't do it. Do it like I said, like how Steph is doing it right now, where Steph then came back after KD left and won another chip. Nah, do it that way, man. Be the man. Always be the man. That's how I'm feeling about it.
The LeBron folks gonna get mad at you now.
Well, LeBron one of them dudes. He was chasing chips. It's all right. Sometimes some guys do it one way, other guys do it the hard way. You know, it's all about how you made, how you raised. You know.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not ready to close the chapter on the book either. Come on now, we can get a couple more.
Yeah, he absolutely can. He absolutely can. Anything else you guys want to go at and look around? I wanted to ask you guys quickly about the college football, and I'm surprised, like I said, JT on low.
That's good.
JT on low management. But I wanted to ask you guys, because I wanted to ask him about how we feel about Indiana. Just because there's been a lot of talk about Indiana, who is undefeated, right? And so an undefeated Indiana team. But if you look at their schedule, they, for whatever reason, I mean, they got the bottom. They played like the bottom 6 teams in their conference. And again, that's just how it happened to play out. They haven't played anybody. They got Georgia this weekend, right?
Ohio State.
They got Ohio State. They got Ohio State this weekend. They lose Ohio State. Are they out? I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of people say, well, they went out there 11-1 football team. You got to put them in. But I think there's gonna be a lot of people, especially if you're in the SEC. If you want the SEC, and they're gonna raise holy hell down there in SEC country, right around this kind of area. SEC country gonna raise hell if you tell them that they missing out on another team because you got a squad that played nobody and again, doesn't matter how much you lose to Ohio State by. What if they're competitive? What if you lose by a field goal to Ohio State? Does that make a difference? Or if you lose by 21, are you like, okay, that's too much? Where do you see, Indiana's been a great story, or you're the mindset that, hey, it's one loss and an 11-1 Indiana team, no matter, because even if they lost Ohio State, should 100% have the opportunity to go play in the college football playoff. Where do you stand on that?
See, this is where it gets shaky, because if Indiana does not win that game, the Big Ten will undoubtedly have Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten championship, so Indiana will not be able to prove themselves further than Saturday. I do think that if you're able to keep it close in the shoe in Columbus, there's no argument as to why these guys should not be in the college football playoff. Ohio State has now beat Penn State, and they'll get a shot at another top 10 team with Indiana. They barely lost to Oregon on the road. So I think that if Indiana is able to keep it within maybe 1-2 touchdowns, I think that their case is certainly as good as some of these SEC schools that have taken 2 losses on the season. And then it poses the bigger question that this is the result of conference realignment. You've got so many teams in the Big Ten. You've got so many teams in these certain conferences where now you're only playing bottom feeders, and this is what you get from doing that. And so I think they'll have to kind of take a look at that and maybe have to change some things up. But, yeah, I mean, it's I think if they keep it close, they should be in. If not, if they just go out there and get boat raced, then they don't have much of an argument. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the eye test, right? Like with Florida State, everybody knew that they were going to be cooked and they shouldn't belong in the top 4 last year because their quarterback went down. And you saw what they did it is a bowl game. They don't really play all their guys, but they got smoked in the bowl game, and everybody's, oh, yeah, that's probably the right decision. I think it's the same thing here, just the eye test. How do they look?
See, I know I'm from the state of Wisconsin, so I'm pro Big Ten. Guru, you know I pledge, so I'm pro Indiana. Shout out to all my noobs in the chat watching. Now y'all gonna get mad at me because Ohio State about to beat the brakes off these boys. They gonna beat them. They ain't play nobody. I think they got UNC Charlotte in the offseason program. So Chris King made a great point as far as the Big Ten that I'm pro, but the really big 47.5. You're not going to get those good games, but you can choose your out-of-conference schedule.
True.
And you chose the cupcakes, so now we're here. So you either show up and you play Indiana Hoosier football, and I'm sure my big OG Tony Griffin going to watch this. He's going to be mad at me. But if you don't come out there and ball, hey, man, you are who we thought you are, like Dennis Green said. You're not that good. And, y'all boys are on T's and Q's on 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee. Mike Heller said he's hammering 21 points. I'm going to go 28 points. Like, Ohio has something to prove, and they're going to do it. Oh, excuse me, Ohio State. Not that other school. Ohio State has something to prove, and they're going to do it. And I hate to say it, Indiana, you're good against a bunch of bums. You're like Kevin Love in Minnesota. Then you go to Cleveland, you get a championship.
Yeah, I agree on the out of conference
Well, yeah,
schedule. That's
the
what kills them.
non-conference. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing. They probably didn't expect to be this good. Like,
yeah,
I mean, they hired first-year head coach Kurt Signetti. That's his name. Uh, and
And extended them.
yeah, and so they probably didn't expect to be able to field such a good team. But now at this point in college sports, you can turn it around in a year. You could turn it around in half a year. So that's probably they probably were like, all right, let's get some bye games on here and just see if we can get something going. And then ultimately they haven't lost. So it's
yeah. I'm with you guys on that. I mean, yeah. That conference schedule wasn't good enough or isn't good enough. I think their strength schedule is like over 100 or something. It's way back there. So yeah, I think, can you keep it within 10? If you keep it within 10, I think then you can make a case for you belong. If you get boat race, like you said, 21, 28, yeah, it's rough to kind of think that. But again, you know me, y'all know my squad. I'm hoping that there's no chaos in the Big 12. That
You hoping Nebraska lose?
My dogs, Colorado, huh?
You said you were hoping Nebraska lose.
Oh, I always hope Nebraska lose. I can't stand Matt Rule. He's a scrub. He's an absolute bum. I heard him. He was crying the other day. He was saying something stupid the other day about the poor. It was about Michigan and how like the loss didn't count in Michigan the other year because they didn't know if they was cheating. I mean, what are you talking about? Shut up, man. I can't stand Matt Rule, man.
My last point on your mama about to get mad at me too, by the way, Trey. My last point on Indiana, man. You played more HBCUs than A&T, man. We can't take you seriously.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mama Crosby.
I feel you. But yeah, man. So that's how I feel on that one. Anything else you guys want to get into on the look around before we wrap this?
No, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball.
Oh yes, you want to get to LaMelo Ball?
By that Bucks Protestant assistant dude, Charles Lee.
Yeah. If you guys saw, Melo Ball was benched at the end of the last. Who they play last? Who they play?
Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn.
In the Emirates NBA Cup had they came down to the wire, lost the game. Melo Ball got benched. Was it the entire fourth quarter? Where he didn't play. And again, I'm sure he had an issue with it. Some Hornets fans have had some issues with Charles Lee. Of course, Charles Lee used to be the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Charles Lee's had some comments about Melo Ball in the past already this season. Asked if he's going to guard players. What's Melo going to look like guarding basketball? Saying, hey, I think the reporters asked if Melo had a great game. But hey, Melo, man, Melo played a hell of a game. What do you think about his game? He immediately pivoted to, well, the team did XYZ. You had some Hornets fans. I remember like, yo, this dude is not like Melo. I saw another segment of Hornets fans saying, man, hey, calm down. Y'all reading in too much into it. But when you have a superstar player that in a fourth quarter of a tight game, NBA Cup, this is supposed to be where all the draw of the season, especially for a team like Charlotte, to try to go out and win the NBA Cup, those type of things. And you have an NBA star, I want to call him a superstar. He's an NBA star for sure. And you can't play him late in games. The guy puts up a lot of points. I know he was struggling, having a bad game on that night, but that seems to be one of those things where Charles Lee, I wonder how much pull he has in the organization. I wonder a couple things. How much pull does he have in the organization? Because as a young first-year head coach, you got to know what you're doing. And again, you beef with the star. A lot of times the coach is the one that loses that battle. So how much pull does he have in that org? And then two, is it about pull? Is it one of the situations that they're butting heads and they're untenable, or is it a situation where Charles Lee is just trying to get the most out of LaMelo and it's more of a tough love situation and they can come back from this? I don't know what it is, but I hope, like I said, Charles Lee, one of the things about being a good coach, I don't care how good X and O's you are, you got to be able to manage people. And when you don't manage people, you get yourself knocked out like Adrian Griffin, where you and Giannis didn't whatever, you lose the faith of Giannis, you're gone. Again, I don't know if LaMelo has that kind of pull over in Charlotte, but again, Charles Lee, I great young mind. I think he's a great young head coach in the NBA, but you got to get the people thing down too. And LaMelo is the star of that team, but again, who knows? Maybe he does have a pull. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting case to me, especially all the time that LaMelo's missed. For him to be back and playing at the level that they want him to be playing at, I just can't really figure out why you would do that. But there also is something to be said about maybe LaMelo is still a little immature as a teammate, still a little immature as a player, and maybe that's what he just thought his team would have played better without him on the floor. But I can't see it happening. I don't know why you wouldn't ride your star down the stretch.
Hey, yo. Why you say it that
No, I
hard?
was just saying.
Ride your stars.
Hey, man. Hey, Lee's proving the message, man. And this thing, man, I feel like Lee's been a part of great champions. Regular season win in order to make sure that we can hopefully rise to that postseason level. And the thing is, I don't really think it's the 1 for 13 or 3 for 13, whatever he was. Boy couldn't throw the ball in the Atlantic Ocean that night. But it's his defensive effort. Same thing we talked about with our Bucks. It's his lack of not going for loose balls, not going for rebounds. Hey, Lee sent him a message. Brandon Miller still missed that shot at the end of the game. They lost by 1 point. And we talked about this in the pregame, and Guru, you said it, man. Like, you want your best offensive player on the floor. We can't denounce anything about LaMelo as far as an offensive player. He's phenomenal. Yeah. But that other stuff, and then you shooting bad shots, you got to go sit your butt down. Hey, hopefully we can get these Hornets in the playoffs, man. Being in the state that we live in, it'd be a good vibe for the Queen City. And, like, selfishly, I kind of hope they get one of them seeds, and we kind of get under them. So we get a couple playoff games. We can do Cream City crossover live because Chris King gonna hook it up. Chris King gonna hook it up, and we're gonna be live from the postseason, and we're gonna be sending all you bums in Charlotte home.
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. It'd be interesting if the Bucks could get a postseason against the Horns. That'd be cool to see. Bucks got to get there and have probably a high seed because I think Charlotte is probably looking at play-in type of level team, 8-7 seed, whatever. If they can get themselves into the playoffs, but again, they're playing much better this year. Like I said, the playoffs started today. Hornets would be on the outside looking in, and that's particularly bad considering that the East hasn't been great so far this year. But the Bucks win it tonight, 122-106. They get the dub over the Chicago Bulls, avenging a loss they had earlier in the season. Any final words in a 122-106 home victory for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Just thought I saw a lot of good stuff all around the board, getting these new guys acclimated and figuring out some of their roles and playing better and knocking down jump shots. Love to see it. Keep it going. Let's do it against the Pacers.
Hey, man, it's always good to win and beat them bums from that other side of that toll booth. We don't do that stuff in the state of Wisconsin, man. By the way, all you stupid Chicago people, half of y'all my family, but y'all come vacation in our state. Good to see Big Fan Breezy back with his garbage Brooklyn Nets takes. Go ahead, give us Cam Thomas and get your bum ass out the chat. But yeah, we up tonight. It's a great win. We just go, hey man, let's beat the hell out of that Halliburton boy. Bring his mama, his daddy, his brother, and all the people that want to complain about us Milwaukee folks, because we're gonna show him a good time. Make sure you get on his behind. In the words of the dude sitting in the first row tonight, belts to ass, beat the hell out the Pacers, and win the next one after that.
It's gonna be a fun one against the Indiana Pacers. Again, they have not played well, but I think both groups are gonna be fired up, amped up for that game. I am surprised. I'm looking at the schedule for Friday night, and this game was flexed out of being on national TV, and they put in Warriors Pelicans. We were talking before the show. Warriors Pelicans. The Pelicans, their entire team has been out. You see Zion, so the NBA did a little too much too early. They probably should have left Bucks Pacers as the game for ESPN. I'm sure they wish they had not flexed it out at this point because that would be the much more entertaining game as the Bucks have trended up. And again, there may be some fireworks Bucks Pacers. I would not be surprised at all if that one gets a little chippy early. Again, we will see if again, because I don't consider Indiana a rival. I really don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't want to get into a big thing because they're not rivals, man. They ain't good enough to be on the level. But I got a feeling this is going to get chippy early. And again, I think Halliburton like to do stuff. So I don't know. Bobby Portis got into it, guys, and Giannis stole the ball. I got a feeling this is going to be interesting to see how this one kind of plays out. But we'll see. We'll fill this one out. See what the Bucks do. Both teams are going to come into it because I don't think the Pacers play tomorrow night. So both teams are going to come into it at 6-9, trying to improve. The Bucks trying to get themselves back as close to 500 as possible to get to 500. See what they can do, and again, the Bucks trend in the right direction. But again, good win tonight. Took care of business. Got a little dicey. Continue to play. You got dicey, but the Bucks handled themselves very well. NBA Cup game. I want to continue to win those games. It is what it is. It's just another game on schedule. But you want to put a trophy on the line. Let's go get it. Let's go play. So again, 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central, Friday night. Bucks Pacers will be a fun one in Milwaukee. Man, we appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Let's see. Yeah, Tom Merrill says Hallie kind of sucks here. He has not been great, but again, we appreciate everybody tonight for tuning in, watching the show after the Bucks win. Midwest Balls TV says salute to y'all. Thanks for the coverage. Absolutely appreciate you for watching. Appreciate everybody again for it could have been in the world, but you are here with us tonight. After the Bucks take down the Chicago Bulls 122-106. This is what we do right here, the Cream City Crossover. I want to thank Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill for sponsoring the show. As always, go down to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Get your pints, get everything. You can get out there, get some wings, some good food, good times. Talk to Ryan over there. Tell him the guru. Tell him the Cream City Crossover sent you. I want you to please get the likes up on the stream, on the Cream City Crossover. All the likes. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell a friend and tell another friend about the Cream City Crossover. Do it. We really appreciate it. Everything you do helps us, just so much. Again, we just appreciate you guys being here with us. This has been a Cream City Media Group production.
Chris King.
Happy Justin.
Hey, if I am your enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no